Hello everyone, I hope you're doing good. Let us continue with the next lecture on part of speech, and today we'll be discussing conjunction. What exactly are conjunction? Conjunctions are nothing but the words that try to connect two words, more than two words, or maybe clauses together. Let's have a deeper look inside it. So, as already said, that conjunctions are words that connect other words or group of words in a sentence. Whenever we have a sentence, this sentence comprises words. Words that are clubbed together, they form phrases, and then we may have two different kind of clauses also in a single sentence that are either independent of each other or dependent. So all these kind of elements of a sentence can be joined together using conjunctions. To have a deeper look of what exactly the conjunction are joining, we have a simple sentence and then we have another simple sentence. The words that are used to join these two simple sentences are called as conjunctions. So we may have any kind of a word that you may use to join two simple sentences, and once these two simple sentences are joined, after getting joined they make a compound sentence. So compound sentence is something that has two simple sentences which are joined together by a comma, if at all we are using a part of speech only, and then they may also use conjunction along with a comma. So conjunctions are those kind of words that would join two simple sentences together so as to make a compound sentence. These particular conjunctions, they join words. What are words? The words are those elements that express a particular meaning. This could be defined as a sound, it could be defined as a letter, or maybe a group of sounds or letters. So these conjunctions are used to join words together. They may also be used to join phrases. Phrases are nothing but group of words, like first of all a bar of chocolate, etc. And then we may also make use of conjunctions to join clauses. Clauses can be defined as independent or dependent. Independent would mean that you have a phrase that is independent on its own. It doesn't rely on any other part or phrase of the sentence to have a complete meaning given to it. Whereas if I talk of dependent clauses are those kind of phrases that depend upon the other element of the sentence so that they are complete in their meaning, so that that particular dependent clause then in that case has a certain meaning and then it completes a sentence. So if I have to discuss the types of conjunction, primarily conjunctions are of three kinds: coordinating conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions, and correlative conjunctions. For all the three categories of these conjunctions, they are acting as a glue. They're joining together words, phrases, or clauses. Coordinating conjunctions are those that join words or clauses that have equal rank or that are independent clauses. Independent, again, those kind of phrases that do not rely or depend upon another phrase in the sentence to complete its meaning. For example, if you can see this image on the left hand side, there's a sentence which is I want more candy, and there's another sentence that is he wants more popcorn. These two are independent clauses. They do not depend upon the other clause to complete their meaning. If I have these two written separately, I want more candy means it is a complete sentence. You can get to know that what exactly does the sentence wish to convey. Similarly, if I have another sentence that says he wants more popcorn, it is complete sentence in itself. It is a self-explanatory sentence. It does not have to depend upon any other component of the sentence to complete its meaning. Therefore, whenever we talk of these kind of independent clauses that do not depend upon the other portion or component of the sentence for a complete meaning, such kind of independent clauses can be joined using coordinating conjunctions. How many coordinating conjunctions do we have? We have 7 coordinating conjunctions. For make it easier to remember that which 7 coordinating conjunctions exist, there's an acronym given to it, which is FANBOYS: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So these are fanboys. Fanboys, these kind of 7 conjunction words are known as coordinating conjunctions, which will always be used to join sentences that are independent clauses. Now here, if I have the usage of for will be used to show some cause of something. Then if I have and will be always be used to show that there's an addition taking place. When I have the words like nor or not or nor or they tell you choice. And then when we talk of the words like but and yet, these are opposite uh, depicting words. These words depict the contrast. And then finally the words like so, they will show you the result of things. So these kind of 7 words can be used to join two independent clauses and can be remembered using fanboys. Taking a deeper insight at these, for is a fancy way of putting the word because. Could you please pass me the salt for my arm cannot reach? So you are here trying to connect two clauses. Could you please pass me the salt is one. My arm cannot reach is another. So whenever you are joining such kind of clauses, for them you may use the word for, which is more formal. Likewise, if I have the word and, this shows that in a funnier tone, if I may put it as they show greed, or because they always add more things to them. I want ice cream and I want cookies. So these are greedy kind of words that would like to add a lot of things into a single sentence. Nor depicts that there is something that is not likable, doesn't like anything. I will not help you now, nor will I help you later. Not interested at all. So that not interest or that uh, not liking something is depicted by the word nor. Also, it is giving out some certain kind of choice. But is used when we have to disagree with something or debate with something. Literacy class is fun, but it can be tough sometimes. Therefore, it shows you a disagreement between the two. It debates between the two, or maybe it is showing certain things that are in contrast, or shows choices. Do I want fish or chicken for dinner? Yet. Again, yet is a fancy version of but. I was enjoying the party, yet I wanted to go home. So it's a contrast depicting but. So gives a reason for something to happen. I went to the mall so I could buy some new jeans. Like we've discussed the word so earlier on also, so cannot be used all by itself in the absolute sense. We have to have certain reason for using that so, and that reason, if you have the two phrases in that case, the two clauses in that case can be joined using the word so. So fanboys, for and no, but or yet. So how do you know that for any kind of a sentence, where do you have to use a for and where of because? Because anyways, this for is a fancier version of because. In general, whenever we are joining two coordinating conjunctions, we would make sure that for most 99% of the cases, whenever you are using these kind of conjunctions, just before them you put a comma. So if you have a comma in a sentence in between the two simple sentences, then you will have a hint that you need to use a coordinating conjunction and not any other word. Because at times we might get, for example, for the first sentence that is written, could you please pass me the salt, comma, dash my arm cannot reach. Now, if I have the usage of because here instead of for, could you please pass me the salt because my arm cannot reach. In general, we usually put it like that without paying heed to the comma that is placed here. There's a small pause that we're giving here, and whenever you have any comma, that small pause between the two clauses, it would mean that for joining the two clauses you will have to use a coordinating conjunction, which will be for in this case. These are certain examples of the fanboys. She must have been very hungry, for she ate everything immediately. I take milk and sugar in my tea. Switzerland is not in the European Union. nor is it a member of NATO. I like coffee, but my husband prefers tea. Would you prefer tea or coffee? He's 72, yet he still swims, runs, and plays football regularly. I have drunk 6 cups of coffee today, so I have got a headache. So these words, as already discussed, like the word so, it will tell you the reason. Why do I have a headache? Because I've had 6 cups of coffee. They may show contrast. The fancier version of but, if we may call it. So he swims, he runs in spite of the fact that he's 72. So there's a contrast in the activities that the person is performing and in his age. And then it offers choice, as we said, or tea or coffee. It is greedy, it adds 2 things. I take milk and sugar, so we are adding 2 components together. Nor would be giving out a certain negative term, if I may quote it like that. And then but is a very strong word that is used for contrast, something that is difference. To point out that difference that there exists between the two clauses, we may use the word but. Some more examples to have a better understanding and clarity of the coordinating conjunctions. The word for is used for explaining the why element. It is more formal and less common than because. Though it is more formal, but then we usually don't use it. Ideally, if we have to use a word that is a conjunction to join 2 independent clauses, then in that case, we ideally should use for and not because. So for those of you who are in a habit of using because for joining 2 clauses without giving a keen observation of the 2 parts that you're joining, if at all you feel that the 2 parts that you're joining are independent, you must go for. If at all you have one part that is dependent on the other, in that case you may always use the word because in the same application. The word and, it represents similarity, similar, equal, without contrast. I study hard and I review all my work. So I study hard is one phrase, one clause. I review all my work is another clause. These two are independent clauses. They are self-explanatory. They do not depend or rely on the other one to have an expression of completeness. Likewise, nor. For 2 non-contrasting grammatically negative terms, here we are joining not and not. 2 negative. I do not miss classes, nor do I arrive late. So there are 2 kind of nots that we're joining together using the word nor. But is used for contrast. It shows difference. I work hard, but I need to work harder. There's a difference. There's a contrast between the 2 things. Or is used before an alternative. It offers you choice. I must try harder or I will not succeed. Yet again is used for contrast, despite something, nevertheless, but still could be the synonyms of yet. I study hard, yet I do not get the result I want. I study hard, nevertheless, I do not get the result I want. Yet I study hard, but still I do not get the result I want. So yet can be very conveniently used in place of the words like nevertheless and but still. For the word so, it shows consequence of something. It shows you the effect of something. I must study harder so I can get results I want. So these are the fanboys which are used as coordinating conjunctions for joining 2 independent clauses together. The second category of conjunction are subordinating conjunctions. Subordinate means to help. So these are kind of words that are helping the other portion of the sentence so that the sentence makes a complete grammatically correct sense. The words that the subordinating conjunctions have under them are after, although, as if, once, rather, since, whenever, where, whereas, till, though, etc. So what are these subordinative conjunctions? Subordinating conjunctions are those that join 2 clauses together, and the compulsion here is, the mandate here is that the one of the clauses that these subordinating conjunctions are joining, one of the clause has to be dependent on the other. For example, if the paperwork arrives on time, your check will be mailed on Tuesday. So if the paperwork arrives on time is one part. Your check will be mailed on Tuesday is the second part. Now here the word if introduces a dependent clause. What is a dependent clause? The paperwork arrives on time. This is dependent on the action that has to take place. Your check will be mailed on Tuesday. When will it be placed? Only when the paperwork arrives on time. So the word if introduces the dependent clause. Likewise, Ali cried when his car crashed. His favorite car crashed. So the word when, which is again a subordinating conjunction, is introducing a dependent clause when his car crashed. So subordinating conjunctions will be used in a sentence so that they can introduce a dependent clause in a sentence. Let us see that what kind of things are joined using subordinative conjunction, or other way around. These subordinative conjunctions, they express what meaning? They may express cause or reason. For expressing cause and reason, we may use the words like because, so that, as, since, etc. To express time, we can use as soon as, until, before, whenever, when, after, once, and since. Now, if you can see, since can be used for both, for expressing reason, also for expressing time. For example, he went to the doctor since he was not feeling well. It gives you a reason behind going to the doctor. Time, for since, if used as time, I have been waiting for you since the morning. So here this word since is giving you the expression of time. For comparison, we may use the words like whereas, although, than, and as. For condition, we may have the words like if, even if, provided or providing, unless. For concession, concession, expression of concession is something which is used to end a certain kind of a disagreement we may have, to certain kind of argument that we may land into. So concession defining or expressing words will be although, even though, while, despite, etc. And they may also show purpose, result, or consequence of something, like that and lest. Let us discuss some examples to understand the subordinative conjunctions better. When I got my test back, I was very happy. I got my test back, I was very happy. So when was I happy? When I got my test back. So the word when introduces a dependent clause. I got my test back. Second sentence, before I went to bed, I listened to my iPod. So it now here is joining the two clauses with respect to time. When did I listen to my iPod? When? Before I went to the bed. So it tells you about the time of the action. Although I failed my test, I was still proud of myself. So although here is trying to give you a concession, expression of concession. Although I failed. So it is by concession because here we are defending an argument, or we are ending an argument for that matter. Though I failed, but I have still made myself proud. So that gives you that kind of a meaning. Until my mom came to pick me, I would wait at the school gate. So until again is an expression of time. That till the time she comes, I usually wait at the gate. I told my friend I could not go to her house because I was going skating. So here because is showing you a reason or the purpose of doing something. As he was feeling unwell, Hafiz did not go to the work yesterday. So as again is a reason giving, purpose giving certain word. I will send you the map so that you can find the place more easily. So I will send you the place so that means it is now here giving you a reason, or an ease of doing something. I will call you as soon as I get home. It's depicting the time. If he doesn't change his attitude, he will lose his job. Here, this word if depicts a comparison or a contrast, or maybe it can also be used to show a concession. The third kind of conjunctions that we have are correlative. Correlative conjunctions will always be existing in pairs. You will have two words that are placed a bit afar from each other into two clauses or in a sentence, but still they would always be used in pairs. you will not be using these words separately. They connect to balanced clauses. What are balanced clauses? Balanced clauses in terms of verbosity would mean that the two clauses that you're joining would more or less have the same number of words. Other way around, again, these are balanced clauses would mean that if they're independent, then they're independent. If they're dependent, then both the sentences are dependent on each other. That is how we'll quote the balanced clauses. Correlative conjunctions, as I said, will be always occurring in pairs, like hardly when. I had hardly closed my eyes when she came. Now, what you need to notice here is, and to remember here is that these are exclusive words. You cannot mix and match and use them. For example, you can't put it as I had hardly closed my eyes than she came. So with hardly, it has to be when and never than. Whenever you have the usage of than, it has to be no sooner. No sooner had I closed my eyes than she entered the room. Likewise, we have such and that. He is such a smart boy that he passes his maths exams successfully. Neither and nor, again, these are kind of difference suggesting things, a negative component. Neither George nor his brother is very tall. That means both of them are short-heighted or maybe moderate in height, but then they're not tall. So neither George nor his brother. Whether and or. With whether we'll always be using or. He must do it whether he likes it or not. Likewise, either or. I can have tea or coffee. As, and whenever you're using the word as, which may be used as a subordinative conjunction if used one, you may have the usage of as in pairs also. You can have two as in a sentence so as to make a correlative conjunction. For example, he is not singing as loudly as he can. Here we've used two as loudly as smart as handsome as boring as. Likewise, scarcely when. Scarcely had I gone to bed when the doorbell rang. Again, you need to notice that with scarcely, you will never be using than. Scarcely had I gone to bed, then the doorbell rang will be an incorrect way of putting this correlative conjunction. Both and. Michael can both read and write. Not only, but also. Not only Mary, but also Gabriel is from Italy. Now, whenever you're using the words like not only, but also, either, neither, either or, neither nor, etc., you need to notice that most of the times we'll be using these words with singular nouns or singular formation. Not only Mary, but also Gabriel. Likewise, not only silver, but gold. Either or. I can have either cola or tea. So as. Her story isn't so boring as theirs. You have to notice here that so and as can be acting as a pair, and as also can be acting as pairs, but there is a difference in the way you're putting it. No sooner than. No sooner, for example, we had no sooner gone to bed than the phone rang. No sooner had I reached the station than the train left. The more, and again, likewise, as we did for as, no, the more and the more. The more you dream, the more you can do. So and that. My mother speaks so quickly that nobody understands what she says. So we have these kind of pairs that can be used as correlative conjunctions that are joining to part of the sentences, but they will always be used in pairs. And while using them, you will have to be very, very observant that you should not be using some other words pair with some other word. They are very exclusive kind of pairs. You cannot mix and match and use them in the sentences as per your will and wish. So a quick recap of conjunctions. So conjunctions are nothing but the words that join phrases, words or clauses. Clauses can be independent or dependent. For coordinating conjunctions, we have 7 kind of coordinating conjunctions: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so, and each of these 7 will be used to join to independent clauses. Subordinative conjunctions can be n number of conjunctions. We have a lot of subordinative conjunctions, unlike the coordinating conjunctions that are only 7 in number. So here subordinating conjunctions, subordinate means they are helping the other part of the sentence so that the sentence makes a complete sense. Correlative conjunctions correlate. So they're relating two sentences by being used in pairs, both and, not only, but also either nor, either or, neither nor, etc. So this is all about conjunctions. I hope you've well understood each and every concept and how do you have to differentiate between coordinating conjunctions and subordinative conjunctions. And of course, understanding correlative conjunctions would not be that tricky because they will always be used in pairs. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day ahead.